Yo, I just woke up from one of the most strangest dream manipulations. I was in this house. Well, it was an apartment, right? But it was like it wasn't mine. It wasn't my apartment. It looked like a mix between two relatives' apartment. And for whatever reason, people I've never seen before just kept finding their way into my, well, I can't even call it my apartment. They just kept finding their way into the apartment. But I remember I kept saying, "What are you doing in my house?" First it was one guy. He didn't say a word. He didn't speak. But for whatever reason he had a key and he opened the lock and then came in. He opened the lock and then came in. He didn't speak a word. He just like, I don't know. It was almost like he was just like a blank stare in a sense. And I've had dreams like this before where it was like just random people I've never seen before, just like either climbing through a window to get into the house or people walking in through the front door, stuff like that. Eventually I was able to put out the first guy. I was like, I don't know, at first I found myself trying to choke him out and stuff, but then all of a sudden, something told me, don't even really try to harm him, just push him out. Because I know in dream manipulations, you can literally think up a weapon. You can literally like create a weapon in your dreams to cause harm to people. But in most of my dreams, I never really, I can't say never. I don't ever choose to actually do something violent. There's been dream manipulations where they put me in prison and then, people came and attacked me with razors or whatever type of sharp objects they can get. I've had dream manipulations where groups of people a group of people had jumped out of a white car and they tried to abduct me and throw me in the trunk of a white car. Interesting enough, it's a white car. And when they popped the back trunk for me to get in, because I told myself I wasn't even going to fight back. It was like, because there was too many of them. I look in the trunk of the car, and there was a shotgun. And I looked at them. I was like, "Are you serious?" And then I woke myself up from that dream. But anyway, so then I remember telling my mother that somebody was trying to get in, and for whatever reason, the same guy he made it back in, but through a different door, and I was like, "What?" So, um, it's like there's so much pressure. Like near the cerebellum. And when I press down on the back of my head, it's like when I press down on my head in general, I feel it's like air pressure being squeezed out. It's like pressurized air being pushed out. Or maybe it's gas actually. Because I know when heat when heat is being applied to something that's what's the word? When heat is being applied to things that are made or that contain a lot of water, it splits the molecule. So, and when water is split at an atomic level, gas, or we see it as vapor, or steam, or whatever, but gas is then released. So this is basically a true understanding that when radiation is when radiation is being beamed on flesh, especially if it's contained inside of a skull cavity, is creating pressure. The gas is pressurizing against the brain. I think they're shrinking my brain. As more of the radiation, the heat, and the infrared light penetrates through the skull, they're basically like dehydrating my brain. And then when the water molecules are split and then all that gas is released, it's squeezing against the brain. It's like it doesn't necessarily hurt. It just feels like a ton of pressure. And the only way I can get it out is either by like pressing down against the head, or I gotta open my jaw at a certain angle where somewhere inside of my head there's like it's like it's escaping through like a gland or something. You would think that you would think that America would be done with experimenting on its own citizens. No, it isn't. But this is another reason why they say America is Babylon. This is another reason why they say in that book that I read, what was the name of that book? What was that book called? I can't remember the name of that book. But they said America. I just saw a flash of the book, and I can't recall it. I just seen a flash of the book cover. I just seen the flash of the book cover. Oh, it was something about the New World Order, or what something is the New World Order. I forgot. It was called something about the New World Order, and it was actually like a Christian-based book. They gave that basically talk about the history of Christians and how many people came in who were basically Luciferians, you know, devil worshippers, those who idolized the beast and worshiped the beast. Um, Even if they didn't realize they was worshiping the beast at all. They've been seeking out true Christians. And I ain't talking about religious Christians. I'm talking about real Christians, like Christians that actually, you know, that were of actual faith. They had good morals. They had true love, true honesty. They didn't have a care to be they didn't have a real care to be a part of the world. They were only just trying to live their life and love God. It had mentionings in it of how the Roman Empire, they basically gathered Christians in the Colosseums and forced lions to tear them limb from limb, to maul them. It's like when you look at what's happening to us now. This is exactly what's happening. When you think about those colosseums of spectators, this is them. And while we are being slaughtered, whether it's in the flesh, or it's in their metaverse, we still have to maintain our peace. Because vengeance is mine, said the Lord. Those of us who can continue to hold ourselves firm and not act as those who seek to destroy us, our blessings will be far greater than anything that is here on this earth. There is a frequency. There is a power. There is a strong beam connected to my memory processing area. The side of my head is vibrating, or pulsing rather. Yet I still feel at peace, though. My flesh is going through it, but my soul still feel at peace. This means I won't have to do anything to them. Because what they're about to experience, they won't be able to escape from. And it will be 10 times worse than anything you and I will have to experience. They will see the fruits of their labor, and they will reap what they sow. Hold on, my empowered individuals. Hold on. I'm going to try to go back to sleep. And I'm going to keep listening to this Terminate AI nanobot video on loop. Every time I try to listen to my laptop at night, well, I unplug it, right? But then I feel like it dies faster because they're so busy taking the energy from it and putting it into me. And then they're going after my mother, obviously, but they've been going after her for decades. They go after my girlfriend, even though sometimes I have my doubts, because for one, she don't necessarily believe in God. They have a she her and her family is into something called Thai culture, but sometimes I have my doubts, but then I just said, you know what, I'm gonna let go of those thoughts, and I'm gonna just let God handle it. Because anything or anyone that is for me shall be with me, and if it is not supposed to be, then it shall be removed from my life. Oh, I gotta take this out. Oh, damn. One thing I notice about any type of shielding that you try to do, right? If it does not come in complete contact, if it's not a special type of metal, like titanium or something like that, it's not going to block anything. If it's a fabric, it needs to be directly, it has to have complete contact against the skin. No space, no gaps. See, I have too much hair on my head, so they basically just go up under it. Or they most likely change the the energy. They change the power behind the frequency, increase the heat, I guess, so that it can penetrate easier. The Air Force know what's going on. I have a friend of mine. Well, at least I thought he was a friend. From high school. He's in the Air Force, or he was in the Air Force. I'm pretty sure he's aware of what's going on. Because I remember one day I was on my way to work one morning, and I know he's a train operator with the MTA, and I heard him say, "Chris, you a bitch," but I didn't think to look around to look for him because for whatever reason I think I had something else on my mind. But I was like, that sounds like him. I'm not really gonna say his name, but if he's watching through this metaverse stuff, this virtual world, this augmented world. What up, Pat Back? That's his nickname. I call him Pat Back. Huh. And then my girlfriend, her mom is, well, I guess with someone who was in the Air Force years ago though. But if you didn't get like a dishonorable discharge, you still have some connections. And I believe he's aware of all this stuff because in his Thai culture they talk about stuff like minds and monkeys and stuff like that. And I'm not talking about necessarily like the ape, but he says people who will gain access to tools or weapons who should not have tools or weapons because they have the behavior or the mindset of a monkey. I feel like he knows what's happening, but he's not doing anything to stop it either. Instead, they're all believing in this idea that they're going to jet away to another country and think that they're going to escape what's to come to America. But here's the thing, there's targeting in Hawaii too. Even better, there is targeting in just about in almost all countries, because this is around the world, because the satellites have a grid span that like a satellite can basically see over like multiple continents at once. If it's high enough, the infrared can span over like multiple continents at once. So it doesn't matter where you run or how much money you try to amass. If they want to come after you, they're going to come after you. There's no hiding. Best thing you can do, seek God, detox, and do everything you can to keep from being tempted to sin even more against yourself. They're always talking about, oh, there's a lot of people watching you, there's a lot of people this, there's a lot of people that. Gentiles, Judists, evil spirits, demons, fallen angels, Baphomet, the beast. They're all watching. And you know what they're watching for? They're watching us being slowly tormented, and they're trying to show people what it says in Psalms. Um, they want to show people that there is no God. That's their plan. They want to show people that there is no God. Look, that's supposed to be God's child. He's tormented. We're doing all these things to him, and God won't do anything to save him. You want to believe in God, or do you want to believe in technology? Do you want to believe in what we can do? Do you want to believe in the signs and wonders that we can do for you? That's what they're doing. They're pulling people away from God. But little do they realize, sheep being led to slaughter. Sheep being led to slaughter. Now, when the plagues come upon man in this entire earth, and nothing happens to God's chosen children, the few that are meant to survive and be left unharmed, while everyone else go through every vial poured over this earth, as mentioned in Revelations. Always remember to give God all the glory. As you go through and you make it through, continue to give God all the glory. All right. I got most of it out. I wonder where the satellite's at now, because the beam that I'm holding is in between my thumb. It's like here. It's like right in that groove of where my thumb and the base of my index finger is at. But it's going out. It's like going this way. Anyway, take life one breath, one thought, one step, one day at a time. Good night.